So Steve, it's really nice to meet you.
Thanks. Nice to meet you too, Mike.
So tell us about your transition from the banking sector to you are now the director of the Research School of Finance, Actuarial Studies and Statistics.
I started off in industry. That was about 20 years ago. So when I first went to academia, the really good thing about having that experience in industry was I could bring those examples to the classroom, right? So students got to see, what we're teaching in the classroom, how that actually works in the real world. So that gave me a real sort of step up in terms of interacting with students and being able to engage students. And then a few years ago, I became the interim director of the school, and now I'm on a contract as director of the school. And for me, it's been a natural transition. I've been in the school for 17 years. I'm really fortunate because the academics we have in our school, they're really passionate, they're really committed to what they're doing, and they do excellent research, publishing in the best journals. And then in terms of teaching, they've won both college, university and national teaching awards, so it's a real privilege to be director of the school.
In addition to being director, you're also a lecturer.
Yes, that's right.
How do you manage your time?
Organisation, yes, I've been really organised in terms of managing your time.
What would be your best memory of, 2 decades of teaching?
So at an alumni event we held last year, a student came up to me. I think I taught them about 7 years ago, and they said to me, "Look, I really hated your course when I was doing the course, but now that I'm out in the real world, I've seen how much it's helped me and how important that course was." That kind of meant a lot to me. And probably the other great thing is when you go to graduation and students come up to you, they want to have a photo with you and they thank you for everything you've done.
You studied your undergraduate and PhD at CBE.
Correct. Yeah, that's right.
What was it like studying at CBE?
So I started here in 1997. So back then, it was probably half the size. Student classes were, sort of 50, 60 students. I majored in finance, and there were 4 courses that had a finance badge to them. So now if you look at the college, it's at least doubled in size. The finance courses have quadrupled in terms of the number of finance courses you can take. The opportunities have really expanded as well. So back when I was a student, you did your classes in CBE, but then your engagement was probably more with the clubs and society outside the college itself. But in the last few years, we've introduced things like internships, Momentum, the Career Centre, public lectures that students can come along to as well. So there's a whole lot more experiences for students and the ability to actually be engaged. So that's been probably the big change I've noticed.
Did you get involved in any of the clubs and societies during the time? Or were there any CBE clubs or societies?
Later on, there was there was a college level society, probably when I was doing honours. But in those first couple of years, there was the standard ones, the movie club, joining up to the movie club, which is still around, and I also was in the caving and abseiling club as well.
What do you enjoy doing in your spare time?
I've got 2 not so young kids now. They're 11 and 13, so spending time with my kids is probably the thing I most like doing. Just being a dad. My son at the moment is very much into table tennis, so we got a table tennis table, so we're playing a lot of that at home at the moment. My daughter's very much into basketball as well, so I enjoy going and watching her games. So just spending time with the kids, that's probably the best thing I can do in my spare time.
I guess you've seen campus develop a lot over the years. What is your favourite spot on campus?
Probably not a particular spot, but what I do like doing is walking from the CBE building almost to directly the other side of campus near the National Museum on Acton Peninsula. So it's a beautiful walk. You do see the campus is really in a bush setting. You see all the old buildings, you see a lot of the wildlife, all the birds and stuff. It's just a really nice walk, sort of walking over there. And then once you get over there, you've got the views of the lake, so it's just a nice place to walk to.
Well, thanks so much for talking.
No, thank you.
And cheers.
Yeah, thanks very much. Cheers, Michael. Thank you.